Happy Tuesday. Here we are reading from Days of Darkness by yours truly. Today we're going to be reading Lesson 17. People can only change themselves. So, Days of Darkness is a collection of insights that I gained from my early 20s where I was navigating some challenging mental health situations, navigating some challenging relationship dynamics, and just navigating life as a young person who didn't have emotional intelligence or practices to support with processing, or a community really that was uplifting and encouraging. Um, and I was able to reflect on this time after hey Leah, I was able to reflect on this season of my life after attending Speak and Write with Lisa Nichols. And I also learned how to articulate this experience more thoughtfully and more completely, more powerfully through her Ignite program. I know that you're here, you're watching this, you may have been watching this as the series on YouTube, you may have been tuning in every week, like Leah. She's pretty much in here every week. Um, and you're like, wow, this is so insightful, and I feel so inspired, and these coloring pages are so neat and uplifting, right? But I was not always in this space. I wasn't always able to share what I was going through. Um, a lot of people who know me from my young age um, didn't know that I was navigating suicidal ideation from the age of 10 years old. And I didn't feel comfortable, confident, or safe enough in sharing that I was having that experience. And what I found out was that suppression of expression led me into attempting to take my own life. And so I'm so grateful now that I have learned the tools and techniques and the ways that I can articulate in an encouraging way, in a thoughtful way, what my experiences are, regardless of if they are powerful and transformational experiences or if they are a bit heavier and a bit thicker to navigate through. So that's what this book is. Again, it's also a coloring book. So if you are interested in nurturing your inner child in a mindful way, I might color this one next. I like this one a lot. Um, I I highly encourage you go to vzspaces.com. You can order the book there. I'm working on the ebook situation. I had it set up where you could go through Stripe and then download it, but for some reason it stopped working. And I was having some issues with that. So the ebook will be republished very soon. Um, and I apologize to anyone who has been trying to do that. So we're working on that. Um, However, if you want a paperback, I do have some available now if you would like to get that. You can also go to the link in my bio on Instagram here if you would like to order. So, yes, today we're going to be reading Lesson 17. People can only change themselves. Yes. Leah says suppression of expression leads to depression. It rhymes and it's true. And it's true. And I'm grateful for spaces um, like the one I am creating, like how Leah's created, Raymel and Jorge and Lisa May LeBlanc, who has her Lattes with Lisa directly after this, essentially, at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Just spaces for people to have these conversations and understand that it's okay for them to express the heavy things. It's okay that we have these challenges. It's okay that we voice them out. Yes, not everyone is at a place where they have the capacity to hold space for that. However, there are lots of beautiful people on this planet who do have the space and the capacity for that. So if you are looking for support, definitely reach out to me. And if I do not have the capacity in my schedule for it, I can always refer you to some of these other beautiful spaces. So yeah, we're gonna hop right into it. I'm gonna be making a post updating you all on the Ghana situation. We did hit our goal. We are on our way. I sent my visa in for processing, or sent my passport in for visa processing yesterday. Um, so things are moving and shaking, and I just know that this experience is going to be phenomenal, and transformational. So definitely be on the lookout for that content, for that stories, for all the things. Um, yeah, and I'm also realizing that it's going to impact my artwork in a really powerful way. I think I have this feeling that the landscapes and the architecture and the um, just the colors of the skyline and the flora and the fauna and all the things on this journey are going to really inspire my visual artwork. So I'm very excited about that as well. Gotta remember to bring a sketchbook with me for sure. But yeah, I will be making an update post on that uh, today. But let's jump into the book. And just a reminder as you're making your way through these videos, if you need to pause um, and take a breath, get some water, honor yourself as we are navigating some of these challenging stories and chapters that are coming up. Um, by all means, definitely do so. I also appreciate you holding space for grace for me to do the same. I know that this lesson pokes me, so I will also be honoring myself as I navigate through it. So, yeah, let's jump into it and get into our author's note. Yes, it will bring about new expression in your art for sure. It's going to be amazing. So set it for you. Thank you, Leia. Yes. Yeah, that's another video. But yes, very excited for this experience. Author's note. This is a work of non-fiction. The events and experiences detailed herein have been described from the author's memory to the best of the author's ability. This publication is designed to provide personally experienced information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold and shared with the understanding that the author is not engaged in rendering psychological, financial, legal, or other professional services. If specific expert assistance or counseling is needed, the services of a competent professional in that field should be sought. And I specifically put in that field should be sought because I do support people with tapping into their creative divinity, building spiritual practices, understanding that they are connected to source already. And I am planning some things with, I had a series on that, so I'm planning some things with revamping that. But if those are things that you are looking for, I can certainly support you. However, if you are feeling some sort of inspiration about your finances or you're looking for some psychological drugs, that's not me. Don't reach out to me for that. and expect me to serve you on that. However, I can reference you to some people who can support you with that. I'm mostly here to support with the creative expression and the community support. So, yeah, that's what that is. Um, Parental advisory and content warning. Topics of suicide and depression, some sexually suggestive situations, and strong language. This book is intended for um, young adults and also teens. Um, I know that some people, well, let me put it this way: teens are children. Teens are children, and I'm also aware that they experience a lot of things that um, some people would say are mature or may have conversations that are mature. Um, and I also understand that a lot of these conversations need to happen at that age. Because, as I mentioned in the beginning of my book, if I had read these things or had these conversations at 13 or 16, that would have really shifted the trajectory of my life and would have given me more insight on how to navigate the things that I had been navigating, like I said at the beginning, since I was 10 years old. So, yeah, some things do get pretty heavy in here. However, I think it's important that young people have a safe space to navigate that. Um, so, yeah, that's what this book is. However, like that one little kid that was at Agape who was like 10, I was like, no, not 10. Anyway, dedication. This book is dedicated to all the younger versions of me. She is the giant upon whose shoulders I stand. Without her strength, perseverance, and resilience, I wouldn't be able to stand as tall as I do today. I love you, little me. Also, thank you to the virtual mentors who have poured light into my mind and heart. Your decision to be a light keeper in this world has saved millions of lives, including mine. And also, shout out again to people like Leah and Lisa, Raymel, Jorge, Stacy, just a wonderful bunch of community members um, that are continuing to help me expand my light. So, yeah. Lesson 17: people can only change themselves. Pausing for the thumbnail. Yeah. I love you, little me. Yes, Leah. Sometimes you just gotta tell yourself that, you know, just acknowledge that, especially if you are someone who is on this healing journey, right? Acknowledging that the child, teen, young adult version of you had so much strength, had so much power, like durability to be able to withstand the trauma and the pain and the challenges. Like children are so strong, y'all. It's absolutely incredible. Hey Drummond. Got my little half heart. Hey Darren. mm, yes, people can only change themselves. There may be people in your life that you feel deep amounts of love for. Whether they're friends, partners, or family members, this love can often blind us to their behaviors. Behaviors that we may not align with. Emotional connection has a way of moving people to want to help someone be better or make a change in their life. We see how different choices are destroying their life or hurting others. Perhaps we've grown up with them or been with them through some challenging seasons. We may think, they will change they will get better if I love and support them hard and long enough, they'll see that I can help if or I'm the only one who can help them because. Most of us have had thoughts like this about people we love. However, the only way a change can be made in a person's life is if they choose to change. Transformation is an internal job, not an external one. People have to choose it on their own. Every one of us. No matter how much attention is given, no matter how many opportunities are presented, no matter how deep and heartfelt the conversations are, no one can change unless they have the desire to change themselves. It can be difficult to witness, but when we devote our time and energy to uplifting another person who isn't doing their own work, we are simultaneously burying ourselves. People are who they are and how they are because they have a self-image that tells them that's who they should be. It's not our job or responsibility to change them, especially if we love them. And I made a little adjustment at the end there. It says it's not your job, especially if you love them. But I wanted to wrap myself in here today. Hey, Coach Val. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Something that I realized recently that has come into greater clarity for me, I should say, through like the group conversations and like trauma drama and Jorge's room, excuse me, is that often when we are noticing someone's toxic behavior, just call a spade, right? Um, there is a desire to want to shift that behavior for our own well-being. And often the people who are expressing that behavior, who are acting in that behavior, um, are not even truly aware that they are being toxic. And this often happens. Hey, Spencer. This often happens when people have, people are narcissists. I was going to say have narcissism, but in any case, when people are narcissists, they don't see themselves when someone says, hey, I'm having this experience and it's hurtful. They're like, I don't do that. Or they'll say something like, well, what did you do? Oof. And that one hurts a lot. I've had that happen to me. Or someone's like, well, what did you do for this situation to happen? And not in like a inviting you into self-expansion and exploration type of way, in like a very victim blaming kind of way. you know? And it can be very frustrating being in those environments and those interactions with those individuals, um, because we're like, can't you just realize that you are doing something, that you have a behavior that is hurting someone, and do your best to make an adjustment, because that's what most people would do. People who have compassion and empathy, that's what they do. They say, oh, um, when I walk this way while you're sitting, I'm stepping on your foot. I'll do my best to scooch around a little bit more instead of keep stepping on your foot. but people, but there are some individuals in the world who just mentally, like, it just doesn't connect in their brain. Like, their heart and their mind just are not connected in that way. Um, and that's not why I wrote this chapter, but I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important that we remember that our healing, our safety, our feeling of security and well being is an internal job, it's an individual job. We cannot depend on other people to change, to make us feel better, or to make us feel comfortable or held. I'm happy you're here too, Spencer. Um, and Spencer has some really powerful stories that, I was just talking about the different rooms, like Trauma Drama and Jorge's space. Has some really powerful stories as well that have opened me up to this. Um, but the reason that I wrote this chapter was because I had a partner, and they were just very self degrading, and they just were very, very clenched to their misery. It was such a foundational key of their personality. And they also participated in a number of drug activities. And one of those intoxicating activities was huffing. And I say was because if you're watching this for the first time, I apologize. The partner that I mentioned in this book has transitioned, and it happened earlier this year, and it's definitely I definitely have a smoother time talking about it now. However, it is still like a pretty tender thing, um, because I did want them to change. I did want better for them. Um, and um, one of their intoxicants of choice was huffing butane. And I remember when we got together that they said, because I love you, I'm going to stop participating in this activity. And my brain understood that that was not a healthy thing, right? Like, when people hear emotional abuse, they don't recognize like how insidious that is. And when someone says something like that, that is putting the other individual in a position of having to perform for them and comfort them and monitor their feelings and emotions for them. And that is not something that anybody should be putting another person in a healthy relationship, right? And after we kind of had some challenging times, and I was like, I need a break. They said, "Oh, you're breaking up with me." And I was like, that wasn't my intention. I was just feeling overwhelmed and I didn't know how to really articulate that because I was still in love with this person, but I was also recognizing my own um, disintegration that was happening. Um, but when we had that situation, they started huffing again. And if you've never been around somebody who partakes in that, it's very odd and uncomfortable, um, witnessing a person in that state of being. And as I reflected while I was writing this, and cataloging and archiving this season, um, I had to realize like I couldn't have ever stopped them from doing that. It really was a just a matter of time because it wasn't something that they wanted to heal themselves. It was a condition of our relationship that they would stop doing that. And even when things were kind of um, okay, when things were good, um, there was still a moment. There was like still a couple of times when they had participated in that and tried to act like I wasn't gonna notice. But again, if you've ever experienced somebody who's in that state of being, it's very recognizable. But I had to realize that I couldn't change them. And as I reread this chapter, and I have since the beginning of the year, um, it hits me in an even deeper space because I really did and do have to allow people just to have their own journeys. Even as somebody who's a spiritual coach and who holds community spaces for people to have self development and personal expansion, like you still have to do the work yourself. Your transformation is still an internal job. I'm simply sharing what has supported me. I'm simply holding the space. I'm simply connecting people to others who have powerful stories of transformation, who have skills and resources to support. But the choice is an individual choice, it's an internal job. And the beautiful thing is when we do choose it, there are people who are there to encourage us and uplift us and support us. There was definitely a time when I was on my journey in the beginning, um, 2017, 2018, when I really felt like I was the only person reading these things about self development. I was the only person wanting to change my life in all of Los Angeles and all of Memphis, Tennessee, because that's kind of where I was bouncing between. And all of the world, and all of the places and the people that I knew, I was the only person um, wanting better for my life, wanting to transform, wanting something, you know, good, wanting to feel good, wanting my thoughts to be um, beneficial instead of bringing me down. I really felt like I was the only one. And then I went to Speak and Write in person and I met all of these beautiful people. And then we started opening up different opportunities for people to get together who are interested in these lessons and this this growth and this just wanting better for themselves and healing and cycle breakers and gladiators, you know. And I realized I really was not alone. And I realized I was never alone. We were all just kind of finding our way together. And on this journey, I often reflect on how I just almost didn't meet all of these beautiful people because I was so wrapped up in what I was experiencing. My mind, my brain, my thoughts kept telling me I was alone. But then I reconditioned my mind through experience and practice and conversation. And now I know that, like Leah said, we're never alone. And I love you too, Leah. But yeah, we are not alone. We are not alone. And our journey is our own, but we are not alone. I feel like I need to put that on a shirt. Our journey is our own, but we are not alone. There are so many beautiful people here on this planet who are here willing and ready and excited to support you. And I'm one of them. And Leah is one of them. Lisa is one of them. Stacy is one of them. Ramel is one of them. Jorge is one of them. So many and so many, many. Drummond. Drummond's a new friend. But I have seen some of his videos and his content, and his shares are powerful. Alberto, another beautiful soul. Like I said, Spencer. So many beautiful people. Michelle Hardy, you know, just like so many people. Carrie, Val, so many beautiful people. Like I literally, Mick, literally, I could just list them all. You are not alone, but you got to do the work. Nobody's gonna do the work for you. You have to choose it for yourself. Okay, I've cried. We've laughed. We've read. Leah says, I want the t-shirt. Yes. Yes. I'll let you know when that drops. I'll let you know when that drops. Yes, beautiful people. I'm so grateful that you are here watching this, listening, replaying, sharing, supporting. And if you would like a copy of your own to hold and to color, I'll show you a page that's actually colored already. And to color, then absolutely reach out to me. And you can go to my bio on Instagram, or you can hit me up on vzspaces.com. That's V as in victory, Z as in zebra, and spaces as in space. And get your copy today. And again, thank you to all the people who contributed to the Ghana fundraiser. We got 12 books heading out across the pond to the motherland. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that it wasn't like 15, 30. Because I do need a little space in my suitcase, you feel me? So it's a cute dozen to touch some lives over in Ghana, Accra, Africa. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. I really am so sincerely grateful that I get to hand deliver these Um, so many people have asked me, like, well, what if you have people that are in other countries that want to buy your book? Why didn't you put it on Amazon? I'm like, no, thank you. We'll figure it out. You feel me? Even if I have to make some connections in Africa with a printer in Africa for people to be able to get this book in Africa, we can do that. Um, I'd rather let Jeff Bezos have other things, not my book. But I'll step off of that pedestal. Um, you're welcome, Spencer. You're welcome. I'm glad that you were able to join it today. So, yes, reach out if you like the book. And again, I am working on the ebook situation. Some people have brought that to my attention, so I will work on that now that my week is a little more open. Praise. So, yes, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining. And again, Lisa May LeBlanc. I don't know if she's doing her lattes with Lisa today. I didn't see her little story circle. So um, if she's not on today, check out some of the replays. She's had some of these beautiful people that I've talked about on here on her show, and I've been on there. So if you happen to see my face on her page, check it out. So yes, have a beautiful, wonderful, absolutely spectacular, magical day because you deserve it, because you are worthy, because you absolutely have the power to create it and to choose it for yourself. And I'm rooting for you. And I'll see you next time. Peace.